This is RJ-Carbone, and you're listening to BD4.
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes
This
down.
one by Mattingly. Oh, hang on to the
R.J. Barrett does it again from downtown.
He is just tearing the Orioles
It's
apart.
good. It's good. Randle gets the bounce, and he ties the game.
Houston ducks under. Got it. With 8 left.
Up and ran, slam the other way for Aaron Judge.
Penetrates, creates, and showing some dexterity as well with the left hand.
Yankees win. The Yankees win.
All right. What's happening, everybody? What is going on? I'm your host, RJ-Carbone, and this is episode 310 of BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. And we also do MMA now, too. In fact, this episode, we're going to be talking a lot of MMA, as well as the Knicks. Now, this specific opening segment of the show that you are listening to right now, pay attention to this because it's important. This part, this introductory segment, is being recorded Thursday, January 20th at 5 p.m. as I speak. So this is actually before the Knicks-Pelicans play tonight. So I'm going to record the MMA segment right now. I want to preview UFC 270. And then once the Knicks play, we'll add that segment in, which hasn't obviously been recorded yet as I am speaking. But, as you're listening to this, none of this matters. But yeah, just want to make that clear. So the Knicks have not played yet as I speak, but as you are listening to this podcast, obviously they've played, and, we're good. But this opening segment of the show, I do want to preview and talk about, let's discuss it, man, the upcoming UFC 270 event, which is just 2 days away. We've got tomorrow, Friday, and then Saturday night. That's the night. Saturday, MMA Saturday, UFC 270. So I want to talk about this. And at the end, I'll give my predictions. Yeah. It's going to be, I am so thrilled for this thing. I am so freaking thrilled. Oh, man. We had the opening fight card last week. It was a fight night card. And that was good. It was a good main event. It was a hell of a main event with Cater and Shikatse. So if you want to check out my thoughts on that, I recapped that in my MMA Saturday episode a few episodes ago. So check that out. It's on my website, on YouTube, or on any other of the platforms this podcast is on. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. So subscribe, download, do all that stuff. Share it with your friends. But I want to get to this UFC 270 preview. I want to talk about it, man, because I'm thrilled for it, and you should be too. So let's head to our first break. We'll get through the plug. When we get back, we'll talk some MMA. Hey guys, so I've noticed that only a small portion of you who watch BD4 on YouTube are actually subscribed. So if you do enjoy this podcast and maybe you want to be notified when new episodes release, I'd consider subscribing and also hitting that notification bell. This way we can help the channel grow and you won't miss a single episode of BD4. Alright, let's get back to it. Alright, man. Alright. So obviously the first event, obviously the main event on the card, on the UFC 270 card, is Francis Ngannou, 16-3, versus Cyril Gane, 10-0. And this is for the undisputed heavyweight title belt. It's a bout for the belt. But, obviously the Francis Ngannou has the championship belt and Cyril Gane has the interim belt. But it's going to be a classic. I think they're setting this up for a really, really good show. I think this fight will definitely live up to the hype. You've got technique versus power, right? Gane is known for his skillsy work. He's got excellent footwork. He's very agile. A lot of people say he moves like a welterweight. And he's a big dude too. Don't forget, everybody talks about Ngannou being big, but Ciryl Gane, he can move for a big dude. So he's a high IQ fighter with a very well-rounded game. Got a couple of subs, a couple of knockouts, and a couple of decisions. So he's won in a variety of ways already. And then we've got Francis, who obviously packs a very powerful punch. But he also displayed some very impressive takedown defense and grappling in his last fight on that 260 card versus Stipe. Or Stipe, as Nate Diaz would say. So, also pretty impressive to have that takedown defense and that grappling skills that he displayed against Stipe for a big heavyweight dude like himself. He's known for finishing, though. Only 2 fights Ngannou has went the distance in. And he lost both of those. But, this is a dude who can finish you at any moment because all it takes is one punch from him. And he's got 25 minutes to do so. And he's in impeccable shape. So, I'm curious, though, man. Because I'm looking at the odds. A lot of people, Vegas, hyping up Ciryl Gane to win this thing as the favorite. When has the champion ever been the underdog? Really, in any sport, you don't see that often where the defending champion is the underdog in a fight. Maybe it's not that crazy because he's not the undisputed champion, but he's still a champion. It's interesting. I feel like a lot of people are underestimating Francis just because he's kind of got some distractions right now. Now, I don't know if that's going to affect him, but there is the whole thing about his UFC contract. Will this be the last time he steps into the octagon? He's had Tyson Fury calling him out, boxing, all that while having to prep for the toughest test of his 20-fight MMA career coming up. And on the other side, you got Ciryl Gane riding high right now. Not that Francis isn't. But Ciryl Gane's coming off a 3 KO streak against some pretty big-name fighters, too. Knocking out Derek Lewis, Alexander Volkov, Rosenstrike. So it's going to be a fun one. And then when you add in I guess you could call it drama. I guess it's not big, but it's, it's not much. But both fighters have clarified, that it wasn't as big as the media made it out to be. Ciryl Gane was talking to DC, and you had Francis in an interview to Meg O'Leary. But, obviously, Ciryl and Francis sparred together at the same gym at the MMA Factory beneath Coach Fernand Lopez. There's the whole clip, in New York when Francis walked right by Gane, right by Lopez, just completely ghosting them. Gane's face, Ciryl Gane, his face was priceless. He was just so confused. I felt bad for the guy. But, it's something. He walks right by them both, not even acknowledging them. And there's also, a little subtle trash talk and throwing some jabs at each other verbally. Gane's team releasing the tape of them sparring together where Gane's getting some good hits in on him. Some elbows. And Francis fires back in that UFC Embedded episode. I think it's episode 2, saying how they didn't release the part of the tape where he knocks Ciryl Gane out or down. Francis then calling the interim title at the end of that episode a complete joke. A lot of people thought he was calling Ciryl Gane a complete joke, but I think the accent, Francis's accent, sounded like it was he, but he was saying it was a joke. It is a joke, referring to the interim belt. And the way he says it sounds like it can be misinterpreted as he. But I'm pretty sure he was. But still, it's building some fight hype, right? And then with DC the other day, Cyril Gane clarifying that they're not friends. He was asked and he said, no, we're not friends. And I think I recall Francis saying something similar to Olivi. We were never close, and how it was a whole media thing. So there's still some fuel to it. You know, it's not like they were best friends, which was what everybody was saying at first. That's what they tried to make you think, building that fight hype. But it's still going to be very, very hyped. It is very, very hyped up. It still added some heat, right? It's going to generate that revenue. It's going to be a huge draw, I'm sure, on Saturday night in Anaheim. But if I were to pick, I'm rooting for Cyril Gane. I am. So I don't necessarily think he's going to win, but I'm going to put some money down on him. And I'm going to say Cyril Gane, just because my heart's going to I'm going against I'm committing a cardinal sin here. I'm using my heart over my brain. And I'm just going to put down a couple bucks on Cyril Gane. Let's see. I'll say Gane defeats him via decision after 5 rounds of hell between both of them. That's what we'll go with. I see he outlasts him. I think Francis runs out of gas. You know, he's only won the distance twice in 20 fights. Well, this will be his 20th fight. But that's going to be my prediction for UFC 270, the main event. I want to talk about real quickly this co-main event. Let's head to break. When we get back, we'll go over this co-main event between Brandon Moreno and Deiveson Figueiredo. Stay with us, guys. We'll be right back. So, if you guys want to follow me on social media, be sure to do so right now. I'm on Facebook at rjcarbone, and I'm also on Instagram at rjcarbone. Once again, if you want to find me on Facebook, that is rjcarbone. Instagram at robjcarbone. This one is one I'm thrilled for too, man. I really am. I am very excited to see this fight. Brandon Moreno, 19-5-2 versus Deiveson Figueiredo, 22-1, going for the flyweight title. Moreno defending the belt that he took from Figueiredo. You know, the first fight between these two fighters, very evenly matched, hence the draw. The second fight was completely different. Brandon Moreno came out with a vengeance and completely dominated, getting the 3rd round submission. I was looking at the numbers just before. He had a 47-24 significant strike advantage. And he also had 3 minutes and 19 seconds more of ground control. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I think I'm rooting for Brandon. I'm definitely rooting for Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. I had to throw that in there. But, you know, Deiveson's a good fighter too. He's terrifying. He said he was going to rip Brandon's head off. And obviously he's got shit-talking Henry Cejudo in his camp now. By the way, those UFC embedded episodes, those little vlogs. Pretty good. I have to finish watching the third one, and then I have to watch the fourth episode, which came out earlier today. So yeah, I'm pulling for Gon. Pulling for Brandon Marino. Two very likable dudes. These are two dudes who you gotta love their energy, man. Especially Brandon. But they're both just such happy fellas. They're just very happy. It looks like just they enjoy life. Both really good humans. They seem like. I mean, I'm rooting for both of them. I really am. I don't know too much about Brandon's fighting game. I'm not gonna lie to you and say I do. I don't know about his style, but I do know he's a good fighter, and I do know that there's a very good chance he wins. Believe he's the favorite. I believe he is. So I'm going to go Gon by decision after 5 rounds, and I'm going to go Brandon Marino submission again. I'm going to go Brandon Marino submission in the 4th round. Okay? I'll probably be completely off on both of these, but that's going to be my picks. I'm going to parlay those two picks together if I can, and hopefully win some cash. Oh, man. It's going to be fun. I'm so excited, man. Now, I don't know anything really about the other fights on the main card. I don't know anything about the undercard. I'm going to be watching the whole thing, but I don't know any of the names. There's a Nurmagomedov on there, but he's not related to Khabib in any way. But can I just say I love this sport, man? I love this freaking sport. It's one of those things where it's like if you know, you know kind of thing, right? If you're into it, you're into it. And if you're not, you have no legs to stand on to bash it. You have to know and be into UFC to understand the true beauty of it. It's so fun. It's so intriguing, but it's real, dude. It's real. Can't play fighting. So let's get to the next segment of the show where, as you're listening to this, the Knicks game will be over. And we'll be talking about Knicks. So let's head to our break. And when we get back from break, we'll start talking Knicks, and we'll be reviewing this Knicks-Pelicans game. All right. Let's get to it. So BD4 is on so many platforms to listen to. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud. You can listen to us on Spotify. You can find us on our sponsor, Anchor, and many other listening platforms as well, wherever you get your podcast. But we are also available to watch on YouTube. So if you want to watch us on YouTube, go subscribe there. But if you prefer to listen to us, again, many listening platforms. Just be sure to subscribe, download, give us a rating, a review, comment, share the podcast, and all that fun stuff. This is BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. All right, so here's the thing. First off, this is the second part of this Knicks/MMA episode, and we're gonna go over this recent Knicks loss to the Pelicans. Now, my software, my video recording software that I use is OBS Studios. That's the software I use for my video recording. And that's going really slow, and it's choppy tonight, and I'm a little impatient with it. I'm not friggin' gonna try to spend my entire night trying to fix it. So this segment of the episode, just for this episode, is going to be audio only. Obviously, if you listen to this podcast already as a regular on iTunes or any other listening platforms, this means nothing to you. But if you watch the podcast often, this segment of the show, as you can see, is going to be audio because I can't get my video recording software to cooperate tonight. Now that having said, shall we? Let's talk about this recent. It's funny, man, because I think I said it in the last Knicks loss, the last episode of the Knicks. It was the worst loss of the season, and we say this again and again and again and again and again and again. And here I am saying it once more. This, and Alan Hahn said it on the telecast in the postgame. This feels like rock bottom. And then positive Wally, goes, rock bottom could be even worse. They could always get worse. And I'm not even disagreeing with that one. Got to agree with positive Wally there. This was ugly, dude. And this was supposed to be a game. This was supposed to... Well, yeah, it was. But this was supposed to be a stretch of games for the Knicks where they could have taken that next leap. They were playing hot basketball, entering this homestand, dude. They were playing good basketball. They were a game or two maybe above 500, was it? And then they had this 4-game stretch coming up at the time against 4 very beatable teams. Couple 500 teams, and the Pelicans, the worst of the 4 we're ever going to see in this stretch, a team who is well out of it, 16 wins on the year, without their best player, and we go out there and embarrass ourselves. And once again, the 102-91 score does not even dictate how pathetic the Knicks' effort or lack thereof was. 15 more turnovers tonight, which turned into 19 Pelicans points. We shot an abysmal 23% on three-point shots, 67% at the foul line. There was absolutely no ball movement, which I don't even know how we ended with 21 assists, which is below average, but still felt like a lot more than we were passing. The bench was pretty horrendous. Alec Burks continues to miss everything he takes. Emmanuel Quickley is just struggling without Derrick Rose right now. Not doing well in this on-ball role consistently enough. The starters tonight, outside of RJ, maybe had some moments, and Mitchell Robinson, who was tremendous with 17 and 15. Outside of those two guys, the starters, Randle, Fournier, Walker, absolutely horrendous. And you look at the plus minuses, they were all minus 20, minus 20, minus 20, something. Mitch, minus 1. So considering everybody else played so bad, for Mitch to have a minus 1 tells you a lot. And he put in some good effort tonight. So credit to Mitch, and RJ had some moments. But man, I'm not even focusing on the great tonight, on the positives. There was no great tonight, on the positives. Because Julius Randle had 4 points. Big night. Great job. 4 points from their leader. The Knicks are in 11th place. They're 22 and 24. Say goodbye to the number 6 seed because Cleveland is running away with it. They're an actual good team. We are playing at best a play-in by the end of the year. And even if we do somehow manage to win that play-in game, play-in tournament, even if we win both or one, depending on where we land, we're not getting past that first round. So even if we make the plan, this season is a failure. Because we were supposed to build off that 4th seed and maybe win a playoff series this time around. This is not the team to do that. None of that is happening. Not both. Neither of that. We're not getting the 4th seed. And I don't see us winning a playoff series. Let alone right now, the way we're playing. I don't even think we deserve to get there. I'm looking at the front office here, the way this season has gone. They botched free agency, point guards, wings. Lonzo, DeRozan went to Chicago, both of them. and they think they can. They threw Randle a contract a year early when they did not need to. Now, I was for it. A lot of people were for it. I get it that he had this great season. It's kind of a courtesy to do this. It would have been bad press if they didn't. But it's looking pretty bad in this Randle situation, and you can certainly call it a situation right now. I mean, this guy is mentally checked out. He's not there. And he hasn't been for a while. He's a mentally weak player. He's way too sensitive, way too emotional to be an alpha of any ball club. And honestly, at this point, I can definitely sit here and say that I believe last season was a fluke due to the COVID season playing without a crowd. I think that really did help him. Because the signs are all there. As soon as the fans did return to the arena, he started playing poor in the playoffs. Look at this season. He's letting the fans affect the shit out of him. The whole thumbs down thing, he's going back and forth with the fans. He cannot handle this role, man. He can't handle a packed arena. Some players just don't have it, unfortunately. His body language is horrible. He's moping with his head down, complaining with officials instead of getting back and playing defense. Because he thinks he gets fouled every single play. Apparently, Julius Randle has never committed a foul this season. And apparently, every time he drives, he gets fouled. First off, what are you complaining to the officials about? And it's not just Randle, it's all these guys. But he is the leader. What are you complaining to them about? Because tonight, you had 19 free throws in the first half. New Orleans had 5. Overall, you had 36 free throw attempts as the team. New Orleans had 22. Not to mention, when you get there, you miss half of those things. We don't even hit our free throws. And we're complaining to Zebras because we want more free throws. Dude, you just hit a buzzer beater at the half, or at the end of the quarter, which was it? The second quarter, yeah. Kemba just got a technical, and now you're going to make it worse and get one yourself entering the half. So the Pelicans get to start the second half with an extra point. Stop complaining, man up, and channel that energy out on the court instead. Not to the officials, not to your teammates, because I see you blaming your teammates, looking at them after missing defensive rotations when you just missed one a possession prior. You're not even getting past half court at times. You don't even run. You don't sprint. You jog at best, dude. I saw a tweet tonight from Fred Katz, Knicks reporter. Blew my mind. Because I haven't been patient enough to watch these press conferences after the game. I don't care less anymore. But the tweet said it's been 7 consecutive games now. 7 consecutive games. I did not know this. Where Julius Randle has hid from the media after. He hasn't spoken to the media in a post-game presser for 7 consecutive games now. Instead, RJ Barrett has to go up there and face the music for him. And you guys want me to call him a leader? You want me to call Julius Randle a leader? He can't even face the media? Shit like that makes me miss Carmelo Anthony. Melo was my guy, but man, did I get frustrated with him at the end. But at least he manned up and spoke to the media. Not to mention he didn't tell his fans to F off. And they gave him crap a lot on a nightly basis. This guy heard it during those 7 for 25 games he had. But he faced it every night in the media. Even, we mentioned this before, Giancarlo Stanton with the Yankees gets booed all the time after his 4 or 5 strikeout games. He faces it in the media. Although, there was that one postseason game where he disappeared. And I'll hold him to that. But for the most part, he's facing the media. 7 games in a row for Randle without even facing it. Who does this guy think he is, though, man? Like, who do you think you are, dude? Seriously. You have one good season in a fake year. And now you think you're some superstar who deserves all these foul calls, and you think you're entitled to never get booed? My guy, we literally gave you MVP chance last season. You were not getting MVP chance in any other building. We treated you so well when you gave your effort. That's all it is. You gotta give your all. You just stole $117 million from my favorite franchise, and now you're playing like garbage, not even putting in 100% effort, and you expect us to sit there and cheerlead for you? No. And this is on Thibodeau, too, let's be honest, for failing to hold this guy accountable. He lets him do whatever the hell he wants on the court, plays him as many minutes as Julius wants. He never calls him out to the media. Instead, he backs him up excessively and makes excuses for him while he calls out other guys like RJ Barrett. I mean, this team had the 4th seed last year. They played defense. They showed up every single night. Win or lose, they were in the games 90% of the time. Now they're the 11th seed. They're under 500. They can't win at home because the fans are in the stands. The team isn't showing up for a lot of these games. Don't even bother showing up. I'm just saying, head coaches usually don't last long after things like this happen one year to the next. I'm just saying. He's had such a bad year, Thibodeau. I'm sorry. I like the guy, but he has not had a good year. 46 games into the season. Still refuses to make adjustments. 46 games in. The data is large enough at this point to indicate to you that you should probably be shaking some things up. The starters coming out slow in the first quarter and in the third quarter on a nightly basis. Shake it up. The team plays better when RJ Barrett's initiating the offense as the number 1 playmaker. Shake it up. Look at what happened. RJ goes on a very nice run. He's getting the on-ball reps. Kemba Walker comes back. Now RJ's back to his complimentary spot-up role as this floor spacer in the corner. This is your number 3 pick. You drafted him number 3 in the draft. You tanked an entire year to get Zion, but to get this number 3 pick. And you're letting him play second fiddle to a guy who's a third fiddle on any other team. Any decent team, I should say. Taj Gibson was playing in this game in the second half. We're down 20, 25 points. He's still playing out there. What good is that? The guy's 37, 36 years old. Why not get a look at Jericho Sims? Let Obi Toppin run out there. Why not? They can't get some burn there? See what you have in them? Get the crowd going at least? Maybe we can get back in this? I mean, we kind of had that fake run at the end of the fourth when they were in there. Obi, IQ, and the rest of the bench. I mean, come on. Take a friggin' risk. Make an adjustment. The data says that things are not working with what you're doing. The sample size is large at this point. Kemba was getting fried out there in the second half. You kept him in for 8 consecutive minutes. It's all shit like this that's repetitive. Game after game after game, we see it. It's developing a bad culture, a bad atmosphere right now. Dude, the crowd is out here chanting Obi Toppin's name when Julius Randle is shooting free throws at the line, bro. There's such a negative energy going on. It's embarrassing if you're Randle, man. Your backup's making $4 or $5 million and is favored over you by your own fans because you started some shit a couple nights ago when they booed you. Oh, boo-hoo. Watching this team play is just so lackluster. There's no game plan. There's no playbook by Thibodeau. We're so unathletic. 3 straight teams running all over us. Ran us out the gym. While we miss free throws, turn it over, and they turn those into transition buckets. And we run out a slow lineup with Randle, Fournier, slow-footed Taj Gibson out there. I mean, come on. Shake it up, dude. Shake it up. Which, by the way, the latest bum to roast us tonight was this kid, Jose Alvarado, who I've never heard of. Jose Alvarado, never heard of him. Sounds like some dude who should be selling mangoes in the corner. But put him up there with the rest of the randoms who go off on us. Like the kid Noel the other night in the fourth quarter. Like Ish Smith, like all these other guys. 3 straight losses at home against some beatable ass teams. This was to the Pelicans, man. The Pelicans, and we can't even put up a good competitive game. Yes, we're still technically in it, but let's be real. Let's cut the shit. Stop delaying the inevitable. And let's say what this team truly is. They're pretenders. They were pretenders last year. This year, they I don't know how you're still high on this team right now. There are a lot of things they need to do. I don't know what they're going to do with the deadline. Maybe we'll designate another episode to where we're talking about trades, but I think I'm going to cut this one short. I'm really tired, and I'm just exhausted from that loss. I need a break. Let's get to the NYY-NYK-MMA question of the day. It's an MMA question tonight, so let's get to it.
It's time!
All right, so let's just wrap this thing up with the NYY-NYK question of the day. I'm sorry, the NYY-NYK-MMA question of the day, because that's in here now in these episodes too. This episode, excuse me, this episode, our NYY-NYK-MMA question of the day, for episode 310. At age 23, who became the youngest light heavyweight champion in UFC history? At age 23, who became the youngest light heavyweight champion in the history of the UFC promotion? Let me know the answer on Facebook or Instagram in my comment section once I publish the promo, or in my DMs, and I'll give you a shout out in the next episode. Guys, that is it. I'm done. God, I am glad that we get a break from the Knicks until Sunday. So that's it for me. All right, that's it. That's it. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate all the support, everything, and I'll see you then. So we'll probably have the next episode out Sunday or Monday night. Around that, we'll talk about the Knicks, and we'll review the UFC 270 card, which takes place Saturday night. All right, guys. See you next time. Ciao. This podcast is brought to you by Anchor. It's the best way to make a podcast. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm.